myself again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true.
Good afternoon. Welcome to NUFC Matters and a Q&A, live Q&A. Now, this could be about anything. It's my YouTube channel, and as you know, I have guests on the show most of the time. But today is one of those rare occasions where I thought, yeah, I'll come on. I'll take any questions. It can be about football. It can be about the true crime stuff. It can be about cancer after the week I've had. It can be about the madness of YouTube. I will leave it up to you. And if you want to join us on the screen, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. So feel free. Those of you who tune in with the football content, what an afternoon we have had so far. Leeds managed to grab a point. Manchester City managed to grab a point after being 2-0 down, but that's blown the top of the table wide open. At the moment, Everton 1-0 up against Brentford, but now down to 10 men. Absolutely mad, this Premier League this season. It means if Everton lose, it means that next weekend it could be any one of three: Leeds, Burnley or Everton who go down. That would be a fantastic end. And of course, I'm going down to Burnley to see Newcastle play. Means we'll be involved in one of those games. It would be nice for it to go at the end of the season. I'm just glad we're not involved. Anyway, as I said, this is your opportunity to ask me anything you want. And from my perspective, I will do 1 hour. But first, I want to say thank you and well done to Vince Smith, who I see in the chat, and John Justice Allen, who is in the chat, Holly Blades, Steve Hasty, and Toon Tipster Joe Walker, who all joined me down at Rainton Meadows in Jarrow last night. And this is why this question is relevant. How sore are your feet? Says John. And well, John, they've recovered. And what is John asking me how sore my feet are for? It's because last night we did a charity fire walk for the Bradley Lowry Foundation in Sunderland in the northeast. And it was a great night, well supported. The original idea was to try for a world record. Sadly, they didn't manage to achieve that with the numbers, but they're hoping to build the event year by year. But here's a clip of us doing the firewalk last night. Care of Joe Walker, Toon Tipster's family.
Emma, you're not good.
Well done, Steve!
It was a bit like the river dance.
That was terrible, that. Terrible.
Terrible. Go on, Holly.
Go on, son! Whoa! Go on, Dad! Go on, son! Whoa! Well done, son! Well done! Come on, Hasty!
So as you can see, we all did it. Vince, unfortunately, they didn't film your firewalk, I don't think. So sadly for you, mate, we didn't get the footage of you, but I can state, hand on heart, Vince did do it as well. Fantastic. Great to do that for charity. And from my perspective, I will certainly do that again. Although the WhatsApp seems to be full of us doing a skydive. Wow. If that comes off, it'll be interesting. I noticed some people are saying that we'll do it when Newcastle win a trophy. Could be a bit of a wait for that. You never know. But we'll see how the transfer window goes. Okay. This is your time to ask me questions. I'm by myself. Nobody else is here. So over to you. So I'll go through the comments. I'll keep an eye on the Everton game as well. Keep me updated if I miss the goal. Afternoon, Tom. Hope you're well, mate. Nice of you to tune in. Trulls, great to see you as well. Staffy, oi, oi. Hope you're well, son. Thank you for joining in. Rachel, one of my mods. Hope you're well. Hope the acting is still going well, Rachel, as well. Always nice to hear about your theatrical stuff that's going on, keep us updated, and hopefully we might be able to get along and see you at some point. Might be a bit of a travel, but we would love to come and see you at some point. Staffy, thanks very much, mate. Yeah, it's been a tough week, and let's talk about that, because ultimately it is something that we all have to encounter in life, is death. And from my perspective, I'm no different. And it's been a tough week. Losing a parent is probably one of the things that you dread. You maybe don't think about, because you feel as if your parents are invincible. But I was very lucky in the sense that I had a mum who was a nurse for 40 years and who prepared me for life in the best way she could, gave me a fantastic start. And ultimately, we spoke to each other, and that was a big thing. Communication is key in any way, form, shape or form, relationships or whatever. My mother, in a preparation, I guess, for death, over the course of her life, had written a lot of notes directed to me and my brother. At this moment in time, I'm not going to share the notes, but rest assured that these notes that were directed to us about certain events in life were very comforting to me this week when I read them. And basically, these notes were written with my mum's ultimate end in mind. And I find that, a fantastic gesture on my mum's behalf. It has almost felt as if she's been here all week looking after us and making the grieving process that little bit easier. I'm lucky in the sense, and very lucky in the sense, that I had 3 months to say goodbye to my mum. Some people out there never got a chance to say goodbye to their relatives during COVID. And for me to be able to say goodbye to my mum, to speak to her about what she wanted at her funeral service, if the worst happened, to chat to her about, things that, happened in our lives, funny incidents where we were naughty and got, reprimanded, relationships she had with her family and how she felt about certain things. It was just a unique opportunity and something which, as I say, was stripped away from people by COVID. And I didn't get the full 3 months. We had a COVID infection on the ward, and my mum, obviously survived that and managed to get back on. But it's been a tough week, as and I would never lie to anybody about that. It has been a tough week, but to lose your parent, one of your parents like that, is something you might be able to prepare for it. But for me, my mum has helped me massively in my time, this week, and I know my brother feels the same as well. So, yeah, I think I will do something about being on the opposite side as a relative, and how you suffer, and how you cope. From my perspective, I think that's what I'm going to do. So, thanks for all your kind words. I keep saying this on the show, but thanks for all your kind words. I'm getting some each day. And please support as well please support the St. Bede's Palliative Care, which I've put the link in the chat there. Please support them. We're up to £1,230 now. Would like to get that up to £2,000 if we can by the end of the week. So if we can raise as much money for them as possible, that would be absolutely fantastic. But thanks again for all your support. It does mean a lot. And I said I would keep you updated with the football. People in the chat are already doing it. Brentford have equalised. Oh, this is going to be good. I think a lot of Newcastle fans would like to see Everton get dragged down. We will wait and see. Okay, Trolls is asking a football question. Do you think it'll be easy to replace ASM? ASM, it's one that splits the fans, Trolls. A lot of Newcastle fans love him, think he's the best thing since sliced bread. I've got to be honest, a lot of those fans are young fans, in my honest opinion, in my humble opinion. I think a lot of them are younger fans. I think a lot of the older supporters, of which I would classify myself one, being 50, we look at him as, somebody who we've seen before. We've seen Ben Arthur. We've seen Robert. We've seen David Ginola. We've seen, so many players from, different backgrounds, different countries over the years who have been tricksters. Kieran Dyer is another one I'm thinking of, just off the top of my head. Some of these players have been inspirational. Ginola was playing in a fantastic team. So we often do talk into John Beresford, and John Beresford often complains about the fact that David Ginola didn't track back. But is ESM as good as David Ginola? Is he as good as Ben Arthur? Is he as good as Robert? No, he's not. Not for me. But a young supporter wouldn't know that because they haven't seen those players. They could watch videotapes, DVDs, YouTube, whatever, but they haven't seen those players in the flesh. And that, for me, is the problem. So your question, Truz, do you think it would be as easy to replace him? Yes, 100%, I really do. And will we sell him and will we replace him? If we've got ambition to win anything, I think we will. Yes. Geordie Timberlife, afternoon, Steve. I hope you're keeping okay. Thanks, mate. As always, great to have you on the show and in the chat. Our team have finished well, though, says Staffy. Which is your team, Staffy? Give us a shout. Remind us. Kelsey, thank you so much. Absolute blessing to have people like you follow us. I know you like to follow all the controversial YouTube stuff. Daniel says, God bless you and your family. I am praying for you all. Thank you very much. Rachel says, I'm doing 100 miles in June for cancer research. A link to my page is on Twitter. Yep. So, Rachel, we will follow that and we'll give it a spin. Oh, I've been joined by Vince. So, we'll bring him on. Vince, how's your feet? Research. A link to my page is on Twitter. Yep. So, Rachel, you want to knock your speaker off so we can have a chat? I've been joined by Vince. So, we'll bring him on. Spot on. Great stuff, mate. You should still be able to hear me, yeah?
Where was the second?
All right, no worries, mate. I'll put you back in the green room until you can sort it. You might put some headphones in, mate. Have you got any headphones?
I think so. Bear with a second. We'll have a look.
Give us a thumbs up when you've got them, and I'll bring you back in. Well done, all involved, says Staffy. That's great stuff, mate. Thank you very much. In the house. Big up from Jarrett, Paul the Hat. Hope you're well. Hope everything's going well down there. My mum was actually born in Headworth, a place called the Greyhound Pub. And if it's still down there, I think we're going to pop down there. I think that's one of the places we're looking at putting the ashes. Afternoon, all well done on the firewalk. Thank you, Mark. Much appreciated. Well done, says Rachel. John says, afternoon, everybody. Hope you're well, John. Hope your feet are okay. Never nice, though, mate, no matter what age. No, you're right, Staffy. It's not nice, mate. It's awful, mate. It's cancer's relentless as well. My mum had breast cancer for... in 2006 and had to have a mastectomy. And to be honest, she recovered from that. She wrote a diary about that, which again is something I think I will share because I think it's important for people to hear what my mum wrote about that particular incident and time. And she wrote these things for a reason. And, she, 16 years on, lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma was what got her. Rachel says, oh, bless you, Steve. Just finished another play a couple of weeks ago. It went really well on to the next in October if I get a part. I'm sure you will. Truz says, I lost my mum 10 years ago. It's tough, but we learn to live with it. Yes, you're right, mate. Look, it's the one part of life is death, mate. It's the only thing that is certain in life for all of us. And Tom says, my mum had a bit of a scare earlier in the year. The results thankfully came back fine, but I'm 43 and the thought of losing my mum still scared the crap out of me. I don't know what I'd do, to be honest. It's awful, mate. Yeah, it's not good. Tom, thanks for that, mate. He said it was a 1-1 equaliser. I've just seen the goal as well. Fantastic. And Vince says, you've done well, mate. Keep plodding on. Always here for you. I'm going to bring him back in. Vince, can you hear us yet? Any joy? Maybe try it on your phone, Vince. If you've got a phone, it might be worth you clicking the link on your phone. Oh, I can hear you there. I can hear you.
Can you hear us? Can you?
Yeah, spot on.
Right.
Good stuff, mate. As long as you can hear me, the jobs are good. And so, how's your feet, mate?
Tingly.
Yeah. I mean, was it a great experience, wasn't it? To be fair.
No, right. Makes it just makes it tingly. I've been in the gym this morning, worked them out. So good. Yeah,
good stuff, mate. Good stuff. I mean, I think the thing that we got by doing the walk last night was it took so long for the briefing. And I think anybody who has done a fire walk will know what we're talking about. But they were doing an inspirational chat for an hour and a half prior to the fire walk, weren't they? Slight delay, Vince.
Yeah, just where it's at. All right. Just trying to sort something out. Right.
I think There's a bit of a delay.
It was a bit. The chat was a bit crazy. Can you hear us there?
It's a bit of a delay. Come back on your phone, mate.
Yeah, I will do. I will.
Okay, mate. No problem. Thanks, Vince. Thanks for joining us. If anybody else wants to jump on, feel free. You can come on and ask a question live. Don't worry. Vince is trying to get on, but it's not going well on the technical side. Rachel Lilly says, "Come on, Brentford." Yep, let's hope so. It's going to be an interesting second half. There's 1-1 coming up to the start of the second half. Been through the same in recent years, says Pete Davison. With my mum first and then my dad. Takes a while, but you'll get there. And Tom says, "I'll ask a question. I saw someone on Twitter this afternoon. Would you swap Allison Maximin for Jared Bowen?" I think I would. Well, I watched him today, Tom. Jared Bowen looks exactly what you were looking for. Great goals. They put the heart and soul into the first half. The second half, they were severely lacking and could have lost it. Obviously, great penalty save by West Ham. Meant that the points were shared. But from my perspective, yeah, I mean ASM, he was one of those players when Newcastle United were struggling. He looked a great player. Kieran Dyer did the same at Newcastle. Looked a great player in a poor team. Will ASM be the player to take us to the next level? I really don't think so. But I might be wrong. And a year ago, I wouldn't have been saying to you that I would want to keep a hold of Joe Linton and make him part of, the plans for the future. I would have been saying, get rid of him. But look at what's happened. Newcastle United, have brought in Eddie Howe, and Eddie Howe has now changed Joe Linton into, like a world-class player. He's worth the £40 million we spent. And that is something which you look at and you just think, wow, it's, it's incredible. Looks like it could be a penalty to Everton, which is not great, but we will keep an eye on that. Might go to VAR. Richarlison's gone down. We've now got Vince back. Can you hear us, Vince?
Hello, I can hear you now. Yeah.
That's better, mate. That's better. How's your feet then after last night?
Legs is just there. Yep. Yeah. It's just a bit tingly. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, mate. Yes, I mean, were you scared about doing it? Was it something you were concerned about before we went on? I mean, we didn't really, we went down there. We had to listen to an hour and a half's chat, but were you scared before you did it?
No, well, I think a little bit apprehensive, mind. After that hour and a half talk, I was just sick and just wanted to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, an hour and a half is a long time for anybody. It's 90 minutes. It's a game of football. And I mean, basically, just to let everybody know, there was 3 people on stage. Well, it started off with a group of people on stage doing what I can only describe as a bit of gospel singing to like a famous rave track to try and get everybody up. The whole audience is then standing up. Obviously, they're trying to create an atmosphere. It took a little bit of cajoling to get us up. But then after that, there was a succession of people up giving motivational speeches. Did you feel motivated, Vince? 2-1 to Everton, by the way. Richarlison scored the penalty. So yeah, did you feel motivated, Vince?
Well, because it was all right. And I think it worked for some people, but for me, I was ready. I think I was just ready for it myself. I was just.
Yeah, you were ready for it. Yeah, I mean, I think to say to somebody, the way to get over some hot colds, which temperatures around about 1,000 degrees Celsius, is to put your hands on your hip like Wonder Woman and go, yes, yes, yes. I think I certainly didn't do that last night. I chose my own method and then did what can only be described as like a Michael Flatley dance at the end. But they were given you the opportunity to to have another go. So once you'd done the first walk, they said, if anybody wants to go over the hot coals again, then feel free to do it, But none of us did. I think it was probably something to do with the fact that we were on, we were basically struggling walking across the car park, weren't we?
All right, yeah. I think the gravelly car park helped. It built up a bit of protection on my bottom of my feet when I went across. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was good. Okay, you're a Newcastle fan, mate. The ASM thing, I'll ask you about that. ASM, would you keep him or would you get rid of him in the summer?
He's he's still young, and I think I think we can give him another season and see what Eddie Howe can do with him, like a full season after pre-season and stuff like that, to see bring him in. Also, in games he gets targeted, he gets marked out. They put 2 or 3 players on him. If now we bring in better players, say another one on the right, they've got to spread like this, who they're going to mark, who they're going to cover. Might free him up a bit, might bring him in a bit more. You don't know. I think we should give him a bit of a chance.
I mean, look, he's somebody who doesn't get goals. Is that going to be the problem? We've got enough people in midfield to track back and defend and to create. We need another winger, I think. But does ESM just need to raise his game? Do you think? Does he need to be coached differently? Because, like I said before, Joe Linton, nobody would have 12 months ago. Nobody would have said that Joe Linton should be playing for Newcastle United. Now he's probably one of the first names on the team sheet.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's very true. I mean, that's why, I say, give Eddie more time with him, see what he can do. Can he get something a bit more out of him? But Joe Linton, just absolute. Oh, I love him. I love the man. Love him. He did struggle, but I knew he wasn't a striker. I used to watch German football. I seen him play for Hoffenheim. I knew he played from deep. It was part of his game. I argued with my mate for years to say, just give him a chance, keep on giving, and look at him now, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I'm so happy for the man, and he is quality, and I think he can get better as well.
Okay, it's all about opinions. ASM's hit and miss for me. Cracking lad when he wants to be, says Staffy. Personally, I think ASM needs next season to show what he can do. We can then make a decision at the end of the season, says John. Trolls says, I'm 48. I'd give ASM one more season, but fair enough. Different opinions is fine. Ian Gaskin says, would you like to see us sign Paqueta? Yes, I would. I think Paqueta coming to Newcastle would be a great move. I think it would help Bruno as well. I think the situation that Bruno has found himself in is a good one, because he comes in with another Brazilian already in the team. What about Paqueta? Is that a signing that you would like to see?
Paqueta, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, it's all about what we can do, what we can bring in, the squad and everything like that. And Bruno is amazing to me. And if we can bring him in, to build it up, and it's just a dream factory at the moment. We can pick and choose, and it's not too sure. I don't know too much about the lad, but I have seen little bits in here and there. Seems quite good. Another Brazilian, bringing to the squad and all that. And he's a friend of Bruno. Can only make him happier and make him better. I think why not?
Yeah, I would agree. I think Paqueta coming in would be somebody who could, massively help Bruno, but help the team as well. Mr. Sifter, you're not blocked because your question is up there. Might be the way that you've worded the question. We do have community guidelines on this channel, so there might have been use of a word. But sometimes YouTube plays up the algorithm and play up, so maybe put the question in again and we will see if it comes up. Derek says, hi Steve, I lost my man to COVID in 2020. I'm happy that you were able to say your goodbyes. A lot like me could not. Derek, yeah, I made that point earlier on, and we count our blessings that we could do that and that we could say that. So, yeah, thanks for that. Don't forget, if you want to come on and ask a question, jump on. It's 5:25. Got another 35 minutes. If we can improve on ASM, says Don, yes, sell him as long as we get stronger. Which again, yeah, I think we all agree with that, don't we? If if you're going to sell him, then bring in somebody to replace him who's better than him.
Well, that's it, yeah, and now we can, and that's the option we've got now. We can look out there, we can see, we can have a look about, and then, I mean, is he a one-horse pony? Can he just dribble? Can he get there and all that? We do know there is other left-sided players who do track back, who do get on, who do score goals. So we could possibly do that. You know what I mean? And that's what's great, having that kind of option. No.
Yeah. Kearney just come across the channel and I've saw a few podcasts. Thanks, Kearney. Please subscribe, mate. It costs nothing. We do 7 shows a week. Always well worth jumping on. Man City or Liverpool, and do you see us, NUFC, beating Arsenal? Staffy, I think it'll be a 2-2 draw. That was my prediction yesterday. As for Man City or Liverpool, if you're saying who I'd prefer, I would prefer Liverpool. If you're saying who I think will win it, I think Man City will just pick Liverpool. But it's going to go to the last game, isn't it? It's going to go to the last game. What about you, Vince? Have you got a preference of Man City or Liverpool?
Nah, Lexus, not really, but I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Liverpool. I've got a mate. He lives there. He lives down in Liverpool there now. He he always tells us when he watches Newcastle versus Liverpool, he's always massively outnumbered down there. But Lexus, yeah, no, I know some of the people down there. So yeah, Lexus, yes, I'm kind of like you. Yeah, I probably would like to see Liverpool do it. But I think Man City might just pip them. And Arsenal, I think, like it says, I think the lads are going to be up for its final home game. I think Howe's going to have them up for it as well, like his final home game for the fans.
Yeah.
I think we could do it. I think it could be like 3-1 in Newcastle. I think we could do it. Like.
Good stuff. Yeah, a lot of positivity around the game, especially with Arsenal missing their first choice centre half. So we will wait and see. But there again, Everton are as well, and they're down to 10 men, yet they're winning 2-1. So you never know what's going to happen in football. Mr. Sifter says, you're probably sick to death of them, but I've got a Masons-related question, Stephen. I'm genuinely interested. He says, if the Masons aren't a secret of these days, how come I've yet to see a Masons lodge that hasn't had all of its windows either boarded or bricked up? Good question, Mr. Sifter. There is nothing suspicious or sinister or secretive about the Masons because the internet really has everything on there that you need to know. And I always say, and it's widely available, a program called Inside the Freemasons, which was originally shown on Sky One, gives you a 5-part show on the full description of what the whole Freemasons movement is about, and it's interesting. You can go out and buy many books on it, but just go on the internet. What is the Freemasons? And it tells you everything you need to know on there. How did I get involved? Why am I involved? Because I used to be involved in a thing called Rotary International many years ago with my dad and my granddad when I was a young man, 17, 18. I used to go to Hewitt Golf Club and we used to raise money for charity. That's what we used to do. And you used to go and you used to have a lunch on a Tuesday afternoon between 12 and 2. You'd have a 3-course lunch. You'd have a soup. You'd have a main meal and a dessert. And then you'd finish it off with a coffee. Some of the lads would have a pint. Some of them would drink soft drinks. But then you would have a guest speaker. And I've found the audio tapes. I've been looking for them this week. I've actually found a couple of audio tapes from those things that we did. And one of them is with Jim Smith when he was Newcastle United manager. Now, I'm going to have to listen back to this, but that will be a classic to put on this channel, which I will do over the summer. And the Freemasons is exactly the same, Mr. Sifter, except you've got ceremony. And what you do need to do is go for an interview with your lodge. You go for an interview with the lodge. And, as long as you don't have a criminal record, as long as you are somebody who believes in, in God, then you are somebody who is, fit to be in the Freemasons. You get voted in. I've very, very, very rarely heard of anybody getting blackballed from the Freemasons. And that's it. You go in and you take your time with Freemasonry. You do what you want to do. It's beneficial for me as an actor because the ceremony in Freemasonry, again, which is widely available on the internet, and it gives me an opportunity to be able to learn words, which, as an actor, I could have recently I've had 3 acting jobs in the space of 3 months. I might not work again for 6 months. Now, it's no good, my mental memory, not having anything to learn for 6 months, because ultimately you might want to, you might want to, keep yourself ticking over. And Freemasonry helps me do that. So I think a lot of the lodges, though, are certain types of buildings. Some of them were built like that. So when it was more secretive, people couldn't see in. But, my Freemason hall it does have windows, but you can't look into the temple. You can't look into the room because that part of it is, it's not secretive. It's just supposed to be a surprise when people go into the lodge. And I think as well, moving forward, if you wanted to go in the Freemasonry, if you're based in the Northeast, I always say to people, the best place to go is Beamish. Go to Beamish Open Air Museum. And if you go there, there is actually a full Freemasons lodge at Beamish. And it's because what Beamish do is they'll buy buildings, they transfer them brick by brick and rebuild them at Beamish. And that's what they've done. So if you go there, get yourself along to Beamish Museum in County Durham. It's fantastic. and there is a Freemasons lodge in there, and anything and everything you want to know about the Freemasons is available in that museum as well. But get yourself in. It's a small part of a big museum, outdoor museum. But again, it's, you know, if you want to be one, you know, it's easier now. You just email your local lodge. Once upon a time, you had to be asked to be in. Is there a connection between the Freemasons and the police? No, but the connection that is there is probably stems more from like the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, when Freemasonry was flourishing. You would go to lodges across the northeast, and there was about 250 to 300 people attending meetings monthly. And now you're looking at 25 to 30. So you're looking at 100% drop in attendance in lodges. A lot of lodges are dying. A lot of them are handing their warrants back in to Grand Lodge. COVID's killed a lot of the lodges off because a lot of the older Masons have passed away, sadly, or now lack the competence to come out the house. So Freemasonry is a dying art. I'm lucky in the sense that the lodge that I'm in is somewhere which is now flourishing, because the likes of me and a couple of my friends there have now managed to go out and bring in other Freemasons of a similar age. So I'd say the average age of my lodge now is probably 40 to 50. Which is great. There are older Freemasons there, but I enjoy it. It changed me for the better as a person. I continue to make money for charity, and I also point to the fact that, you know, whenever there's a disaster, the Grand Lodge of Freemasons are usually the first people to donate. And for example, when there was the terrorist attack on Westminster Bridge, go and Google terrorist attack on Westminster Bridge helicopter. And you'll see that the red helicopter that lands on the bridge to start ferrying off the first casualties, it's got the square and compass on the back. That's because we donated that helicopter. So there is a hell of a lot that we do. Is it more sinister? Is it the higher you go up the ladder? I don't know. I'm not that high up the ladder. I'm a local Freemason. I'm somebody who, you know, currently is the worshipful master of my lodge. You know, something I'm very proud of. And you know, I will continue to do work for charity. The fire walk last night, I was doing work for charity. I'm raising money with the link that I posted earlier on for the palliative care unit that cared for my mum when she passed away last Saturday. You know, me and my brother are doing that. So, you know, there's nothing secretive about it. I hope that answers your question. I've gone all the way around the houses to answer it. But, you know, nothing sinister, nothing evil, nothing weird about the Freemasons. You know, ultimately, it's an age-old tradition, and you know, it's a dying art. And I'm just pleased to say that I'm somebody who is trying to keep it alive, and I will do until the day that I pass away. Okay, quick ad break. Are you all right to stay on, Vince?
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Okay, big shout out to Spider Miner, worldwide coverage. Nice to see the lads involved again for another month. The only cryptocurrency miner that can mine 5 different cryptocurrencies at the same time, while virtually no energy, and it's VPN protected. Buy yours now at www.miner.spidervpn.org. Thanks to skipsandbins.com, telephone 0800 25 45 25 3. Email inquiries at skipsandbins.com. Website www.skipsandbins.com. Easy, contract free, and pay-as-you-go waste collection. Thanks to L&G Family Funeral Directors, 0191 389 7245. And a Gardener Healing Dispensary, CBD, hemp, and cannabinoid specialists, www.thegohd.com. Thanks to qtechshop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend, Newcastle, and the guys who run our website, NUFCmatters.com. And thanks to Cleakai, meet the new game over screen, drop into a ClearRun device near you, available on Apple Store, Google Play, clearrun.game. And thanks to Media Arts for all the help with video work. And also thanks to everybody else who supports us over the course of the year. You can also subscribe to the channel, hit the Newcastle Legends logo, and you can subscribe for free. We still do 7 shows a week and a few more besides. Hit the thumb up to like the video. Drop it into the comments box to make a comment to post onto the screen. And click share to share to your social media. We're also available as a podcast on iTunes and on Spotify, so get yourself onto there if you're out and about in the car. And don't forget, we support the food bank on here, NUFC fans, foodbank.co.uk. And And with the games and season coming to an end, it is more important than ever that people make a donation to NUFC fans, foodbank.co.uk, to keep the food banks ticking over through the summer. Don't forget, we are doing an event as well at Shearer's Bar. NUFC Matters presents Mick Lowes and Andy Griffin. It's the end of season 2, Friday the 24th of June. Tickets are £12. And we have got another signed Shearer ball, which we're raffling off. Go to nufcmatters.com. The raffle tickets are $2.99 and there are 99 tickets available. So get yourself on there today. Vince is back in. So Vince, we'll just keep you in the chat.
Yeah.
Humble Dryer, how are you, lad?
Hello, Steve. Sorry to hear about your mum, mate.
Thanks, mate.
That's why I left you alone. It was Donna. It said to me, I said, I just leave him. Didn't tag you in any of the drama. I might have done early doors, so apologies for that, mate. It was just I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, to some of those who've tuned in for football, obviously, you know, a lot of people like the football stuff. A lot of people like the true crime stuff. A lot of people like the various other things that were put up on here. But every now and then, I do like to dip my toe into the water of the crazy world of YouTube, and I will be doing so again. I just felt, of all the things I can talk about, you know, underwater, football's the easiest. The YouTube stuff, I've got to be of straight mind to comment on it all. But I've got to be honest, I have caught up with the ongoing mental saga that we see. And I mean, the developments have been again strange this week on YouTube. Who do you think's been the winners and losers this week?
Well, I would say the biggest loser this week, well, it was just, I'd say it was very on the nose there, but I'd say he's won. He's living in London with what he came out with last night about Exposure TV being the guy K who was involved in the murder of Reese Jones or something. I know Exposure TV personally, as in I know exactly who he is, and I can confirm that's not who he is. Exposure TV's not got a problem coming out, but I told him it's the not knowing that makes his channel more. I don't know, it's appealing. You're probably best staying out of it, Steve. You because the kind of political side of the football and everything. Some things I'll even come out of because you know people are sitting there waiting to get that wee clip bit of you saying something that's maybe not suited. But yeah, there's a lot of things been busy. Yeah, I'm going to say living in London is the biggest loser this week with it. Just with that one night, he's not a guy I watch. I think he's fun as a fart. Then the mental health ambassador, yeah, he's taking a bit of thrashing this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've played catch up. I've watched it all, and I've tried to dissect it all, and it's just getting stranger and stranger. I mean, obviously, Vince, you obviously tune into bits and bobs on YouTube. Have you seen any of this mad stuff that's gone on over the last 6 or 7 months?
Odd bits. I keep looking for just little bit slightly. Yeah, it's a bit weird.
It is. No, it definitely is. It is a strange old place, YouTube, and I think it's just going to get stranger. I think over the next 6 or 7 months. The fight, though, John, I'm going to ask you about that. Obviously, we've seen a few training videos now of Dean. He's looking in decent shape, isn't he?
Yeah, a lot of people thought, including myself, I thought was there a wee bit of was Dean working with Deca? I can at one point I'm thinking you're promoting him a bit, but I'm going to say no now. He's not working. He's certainly there's there'll never be the same animosity or aggression as in what Danny had. Yeah, we'll never be that again. Well, no, that I don't think we'll ever see it. Me personally, seeing that kind of aggression and anger, but I think Dean is certainly getting there. And personally, it's like everybody said to me, Ken, that Danny was going to get a beating. Danny will tell you this himself. That morning I phoned him, there was never a mention of Danny being beat. No, I knew the anger he'd carried for 3 years. I knew the mental stuff, being in the prison, his grandpa dying and having to get out. The priest come to visit. The priest come to visit him in the chaplain come to visit him in the jail. I knew how low he was, and I knew he was put in there because he was a proud person. He'd made a lot of mistakes in his life, but owned them. So when there was never any chat. My biggest fear was Danny walking into something that Paul Venus wouldn't be able to get him out, because it was meant to only be 4 people: Paul Venus, Danny, Dougie Joyce, and Decker. That basically that was a fair and a cameraman, but the gym was half full.
Yeah.
What we seen with our eyes, but Dougie is actually after it. I think Dougie, well, I don't think, I know Dougie said, I thought you'd have brought a team of boys. Where's your boys? And Danny says, I told you. The deal was I came in with my fair play man, Dougie. And Dougie Joyce went, well, I have to give you nothing but respect for that.
Yeah. Derek Sharp is asking a question. He said, do you think the YouTube spat between Anne and the rest is taking the spotlight away from Decca Heggie? And I mean, obviously I've spoken to Anne many a time. I had her on the show and the platform. And I mean, look, there's always a lot of other stuff going on YouTube, but does it take it away from him?
Yeah. I think looking into a couple of bits and pieces, I'm actually right. So I'm going to be honest. I just want to give Kearney a shout out. Karma Corners made Kearney. He's shared his a couple of Kearney's videos there. So he's down my area. So I just want to give him a shout there before I carry on here. Basically, he supports good teams as well, Steve. So he's
Are you happy with the season from your perspective with your club, John? Who do you support?
As I say, I was trying to stay away from it because of the politics of it. Plus, but I'm glad to see where they've went. I mean, yes.
You've had a good season. Well, that's good. We've had a decent one as well. Just want anyhow to win manager of the month. Okay, mate. Good stuff. Hope everything else is going well. Is there anything else you want to plug, mate? Because obviously you've got your own channel, Humble Dryer 2. Is there anything else that's coming up?
Right. Andrew Goyne. I was hoping she would come on the other night. I mean, there she's taunting Video Craig, a perfect example. Video Craig did come on with, Uncle K's ruthless, right? He's a bit like PD. But you know they're ruthless, right? Craig's a comedian. Yeah. So because Craig went on, Craig only laughed at something. It was something like a comedian that I would laugh at. I'd laugh at something that's my humour's quite dark. So not as dark as Craig's, but it's quite dark. And Craig laughed at something, but there's nothing sinister about it. And she turned Video Craig, yeah. Again, Donna was looking at some of her work in regards to a few, let's put crime, unsolved. Some of her work's been spot on. Absolutely spot on, and probably a bit frustrating for her, but she spoils it when she then goes and puts lies up. I mean, like you've heard her. That night you come on, she was asking me to go on. I said I wasn't going on, and she said it was me kept begging her to go on. I thought I wasn't interested. But again, she's been managed. She's been told what to do. That's my version of it. She's been told what to do. Yeah. I mean, I've heard
a lot of people say this one's been told and that one's been told. I see there's a lot of accusations flying around on the YouTube community about people being paid vast amounts of money, and people, obviously I've caught up with Decker's videos, and he's maintaining that people are, being paid vast amounts of money. There's another one which has kindly used my surname, although I think they're referring more to a ghostly apparition, the Humble Wraith, I think it is. I managed to come across that, which has used some kind of horrendous voice altering device to a bit like Darth Vader, actually, Vince. Which just like, it's like one of those hello, and actually like my ears were bleeding listening to it. But that's maintaining that there's some like megalomaniac Scooby-Doo kind of villain behind this whole thing, funding everything. What do you think about that?
Right, okay, so okay. This is what I give, this is the advice I give to people who use voice changers and that, right? If you're going to use them, do a wee bit of homework on them, because if you can use them, so can other people. So if somebody does a voice, and I get that video, and that I could put 10 videos up here of whose voice that is, because what I'll do, I'll take the video, then I'll put it back into the voice changer and normalise it. I'll speak it down to, if they've got background music and you can hear, you can change the pitch down. It takes me, I don't know, 10 minutes on an app that costs me 40 quid a year to put it back to normal. So if you've got to play, if people are playing the game, get better at it, and so your voice doesn't end up out there. As you know, I don't out everybody, certainly, unless they get personal. Talking about personal. So we've got the equalizer, okay? The equalizer's not back as equalizer, but he's back. And you know who he is, Steve. The man that called the child rapist at the beginning. So he's back. He started victim shaming a girl that Tommy Robertson had on his documentary there in Telford. Tommy's done 2 parts. So he started victim shaming this girl. Which are obviously have been gathering information. But he's also got another couple of channels which he started. One of them was called John Murray Wasting Pedo, and it changed to then Magic Dimensions. Okay. Now I informed a couple of people, one of the boys in Ireland, blah blah blah, that you've had on, and they said I don't think so. But anyway, he's just proved me right there in the last couple of days again. So, Steve, yeah. You know what I'm talking about. So he's got to get himself in a bit of trouble. When you've got people like Brett May, for example. Now Brett May is a good topic just now. I messaged Brett May and I said, listen, be careful here. He said, these channels are doing this, blah blah blah, and all the rest of it. I said, listen, if you start playing Decker's game, Decker will have you report it to the police. I watched a video where obviously Brett's got upset about something. Now Brett's got a horrendous past, right? He's owned it. He's been jailed for it. It's saying he'll come out and he'll speak about it. But I said to Brett this morning, I said, listen, you end up in the jail. You're in Scotland, blah, blah, blah. He will have phoned the police on you. Now, I've just got a message 2 hours ago from Brett to say, yeah, I believe he's phoned the police on me.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just, it's just getting more and more bizarre. It really is.
What about Team Banksy? What about Team Banksy? Have you clicked
I've caught up with that. I mean, I've seen that there's been a few posters going up backwards and forwards, and then I tuned into Motorsports Boogie's video the other day where he's obviously been the man who's been accused of placing loads of things, which he's clearly denied on more than one occasion. But yeah, the Team Banksy thing seems to have grown. It seems to have grown legs and is running as well. Which is just another little sidearm, I guess, of whatever's going on.
Obviously, I try to kind of poke about things to see what's what, but as for a couple of leaflets, I believe it's in the region of 5,000 leaflets now.
Bloody hell!
So
spend a lot of time taking them down.
Well, I get told, I spoke to somebody who'd went into I'm not sure if it was Montrose or Arbroath, but there was something that one of the tourists is 130 caravans, leaflets put in caravanette type things, motorhomes.
Yeah.
130 of them. So that would take a bit of time. So, as in, Motorsports has been away camping, I believe, with Alex Kearney, which is up the other side. Now, they'll put videos up, so that would take, fair Montrose, as you're talking 3 or 4 hours. So, of course, it's possible, but it would take a bit. You've got AMPRs on the road. You've got, you know what I mean? It's not just as easy when somebody thinks it's going to be you. That's kind of, it gets difficult then, doesn't it? Decker's put up a poster saying, oh, Motorsport spells woman, WOAM, woman, right? But on the other side, if you go into now, where is it now? If you somebody put up the other side, so it's two sides: women WOMEN, right? On the other side, it's WOAMEN. So it's as if who's ever done it's done it for a laugh.
Yeah.
Woman, yeah, no woman. So yeah, it's again, Deca, the see the bit of grass now. I don't know how motorsports could possibly have no. Where Deca was walking a dog last week, and yet he says, I think he was telling somebody, I'm in Carlisle, but he shouted on the dog. Now the dog was the wee pup that was in the office last year, and I believe that's the woman who works for a guy up there. I'm not going to name his business. It's something to do with a boxing gym as well. But I believe this is a lady who works in the office, and she lives now. I mean, it might be her bro, I'm not sure, right? But the bit of grass, Deck had said that they'd put these things through his friend's letterbox and everything. But the picture that's on Team Banksy is a bit of grass where Deck had been walking the dog, I believe.
Right.
And the posters have been stuck in branches. There's a you need to zoom right, and I'm like Inspector Clouseau, I'm want to try. If somebody puts in a picture in the dark, I want to zoom in and see exactly where it is. But I believe that's where it's been. So that'll be everybody known. At the end of the day, he was asking people for lawyers' numbers. What do you call this? No win, no fee, because he was wanting to take me to court, right, on a no win, no fee basis for liable. First, I would need to be lying, yeah, and two, he would need to lose money. I'm getting him subscribers. He keeps boasting about how much his so like that way is no working. So I'm going to try and make him famous. Maybe know what he's planned. But I'd like to push him out there more, because the more he's pushed out, the more exposure comes with it. I'm not saying it's ever been a game, but it's a change of plan for me, because if he's what I'm making him money, so he can't get me done for liable. I'd need to be liable.
Okay, Kelsey says Dodgy Dave has been centre stage this week. I mean, again, I've some videos are easy to watch, other videos aren't. I watched a couple of them while I was, I had the headphones on, listening to them at the gym, and I've seen them. But I mean, again, and there seems to be a bit of repetition. We've heard a lot of these tapes and recordings before. There seems to be other channels who are putting more and more and more of this out. I really just don't know where the whole thing is going to end. I'm still scratching my head as to where it's going to end. Have you got any idea?
I'll say what happened last night. So I've known for a wee while, and I always keep an ace up my sleeve. So I had the police looking for me on Thursday night. Okay. John was lifted again. Well, he wasn't lifted. He was asked to come in Tuesday this week again.
His ex-business partner, John. Right, okay.
And I think he was maybe pulled for the podcast he was on with you before Christmas, before the police gave him the first warning about breaking data or protocol or whatever.
Right, okay.
So that was fine. And so on Thursday night, I wasn't in, but I believe Decca's dad has sent the police to me. So last night, right, so I know that Decca's dad pulls all the strings. I know which troll brigade that he's paid to try and destroy people. I know everything. So last night I exposed his dad for impregnating a 14-year-old girl.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say allegedly there, because I don't want to get a hit.
Yeah, allegedly. And it was allegedly 18 or 19 years ago. And allegedly, he even took her to the abortion clinic.
I saw your video on that, to be honest, and
allegedly, yeah. But I want him to come on and call me a liar, but he's hit me with a privacy strike last night.
Okay.
So I've done another video, sharing the video again, because I want to know what part he wasn't happy with. Again, it's it's a fictitious name he's got. So what part is that fictitious name is he not happy with? That's what I want to know. because at the end of the day, it was all right for the son to make money and him sit in the background and call him with the gay people and belittle his son in the house, allegedly. But we'll see how it makes if when he's making his son money now.
This really is going to go on and on and on, and it is like a madhouse. But yeah, look, we will see what happens over the.
You know why
2-2, Everton 2, Brentford 2. To those of you who are interested in the football, and that is great news, I guess, for the relegation battle. Not so good news for Everton. And I tell you what, with 30 odd minutes to go, this game might not be over yet. And Frank Lampard looking a bit concerned. But go on, what were you going to say, mate?
Yeah, just right. So somebody asked me, you know, why do you not move on to somebody else? I never done this to actually do this. I told you it was something. It's accidental for us.
You don't get paid for this. This is the thing, John. You don't get paid for this.
Exactly, mate. So there's a few things I need to sort out first, right, before I can ever walk away from it. One is diet chips and his relation and all this. The reason I don't take my foot off the gas, and I can't, Carl McConnell was right. He said, John, you know what's there, you know what's facts, you know what's true, you know what's false. You can't walk away from it. It's like knowing it when you've got, you know, I never signed any contract with the police like that, but when you know what's happening, it's right. I can't walk away from it. But see, every time we did, Steve, right, it's now been proven to me. Every time we take our feet off the gas, he's less time to concentrate on us.
Yeah,
he put pressure on people, alleged victims, yeah, like alleged Geraldine and people like this. He gets people like the Equalizer to harass the living daylights at him.
Yeah, sorry, mate. 3-2 to Brentford. Yeah, go on.
Football mad, innit?
Mr. Humble, you should do more shows with Steve, says Black Witch. Thank you. Yeah, we do. I mean, look, I do try to be fair on here. It's why I have put out a couple of short videos asking Decker to come back on the channel. We will meet him face to face. If people don't want Video Craig to do it, I'll do it on my own. I'm more than happy to go and meet him. And I've told him I'll send him the questions in advance. I think a full interview where the questions are asked properly to him and he gets the chance to answer them without going mad. I think face to face is the only way it can be done. None of this sending links where somebody can turn around and say, well, that's not going to happen. And you know, look, I've interviewed him before. We don't have to mince our words. He can be honest. He can give us a full understanding. He's making videos explaining to people that, you know, you can go to Carlisle and see the paperwork, you know, via somebody else. Well, let's do it. If you want us to come to Carlisle, I'll come and do it. I'm more than happy to do it. 100%. I'm not, you know, bothered about coming to meet you face to face. I'll come and do it. And I'm not on anybody's side. I've had me say, I'm not going to prejudge you. Let us just do it. That's what I want to do. And, you know, again, the video doesn't need to be monetized. The video can be put up on your channel. It can be put on my channel. Do what you want. But let us do it, because I, for one, although it's been amusing at times, it's been funny at times, it's been quite frustrating at times. I personally think I can be impartial. I can give you a free platform to do this and do it properly. But the invite out there.
We're going to do it, Steve. He's happier to push out lies, right? So there, Danny, I'm not going to speak about Danny's financial thing. That's his private business, yeah. I'm not going to say how he get the money, but Danny came into a bit of money in a family issue, and before Christmas, right? He got a clump of money. Now that turned into, I think it was Anthony Burkett said a lie to Andrew Goyne that I'd paid Danny 13 to 15 grand, right? So again, I don't mind these bits. This Andrew Goyne posted it in a community post. Danny seen it before I did, and then Danny went, "Oh, it must be great." No, it was a joke. So I've come under it and went, "Yeah, remember what I told you? As an end game, you'll be driving a Rolls Royce next." Yeah, having a bit of banter. That then turns into, that then people run away with that. It's the exact same as Darren G. I'm going after him again, because he's slipped off the internet or YouTube, but he's not. He's in helping channels, which I'll keep to myself just now. And yes, he's also when he said we'd offered him $3,000, again, I've got the full recording of that, but you know yourself, right? If any of this ever ends up in court, I need to keep a bit that protects us, because as soon as I put it out there, it's admissible in court. It's admissible in court. Now, Anne says, can you damaging these cases? No, we're not, Anne. The reason we're not damaging them because we've not even scratched the surface. What's out in the internet is what will remain out in the internet. What I know personally, you know, that we've no, there's no even touched the sides on YouTube.
Yeah, it's question for Mr. Dryer, hot point or Hoover, says Banana Man. Definitely hot point all day.
Oh, definitely hot point. Who's this for? Hot point, actually.
He looks like a hot point, man. Mouse Georgia says, Humble, do you ever feel this drains you more and more to your life? I mean, does this kind of, you know, stuff drain you? Do you enjoy it? Do you, you know, because, you know, it's a bit like being a crusader, I guess.
10 years ago, I think it's been very different for me. Now, yeah, well, I'm committed. At the end of the day, if when he put that exposure out and tried to make all he done with his big exposure was he put everything out that he'd previously reported, but there's a lot of things in the background, like the chimney sweep guy from Carlisle, you know, they put up a big massive post, said that guy tried to rape an American lady, again, he'd slept with lady boys. They tried to proper rip that man's life apart, and I've not actually spoken to him since I cleared the thing up about the American lady who I actually spoke to, and it was the American lady telling me she was prepared to fly over to go to the Metropolitan Police and tell what really happened that night at the hotel in London when allegedly Decca tried to rape her. No, Alan McDermott. So I've been trying to get a hold of Alan because certain people have said, Ken, his van, his tyres have been slashed, people's houses have been getting egged, even kids have been getting sent out. So whilst windows are getting put in, before that there seems to have been a spate of damage. Like Danny's grandpa's house, when Danny's grandpa died, the house was lying empty. It gets splattered with eggs and all the rest of it, and people's tyres have been getting cut. So
this is the problem when it transfers into people's personal lives. It's an absolute nightmare. Mr. Sifter, I will read this. I have seen your points. I just haven't had time to interject and read them, but they've all been very similar. The whole Heggie saga drains me. I'm not even involved. Sometimes I tune into a channel like yours today, Steve. Look forward to watching it, but it always ends up being about Heggie. Yeah, and I mean, look, it's because this was an open chat. It's a Q&A. I've invited people on, and yeah, it's because it's topical. And I've been away a couple of weeks, haven't been able to talk about anything, and you know, it depends who comes on. If you want to come on, Mr. Sifter, and change the narrative when I do one of these, feel free. But yeah, look, it's popular because it's what everyone's talking about, and that's not lost on him either. That's not lost on him either. He realizes by continuing to come out and do little videos, he knows he's making some money out of it. So, well,
look at his every time. So Danny was at court 2 weeks ago, right? Danny, through that fight, has now got a tag round his ankle, for any of you guys not aware. So Danny's now got a tag round his ankle, right? Now Decca was out calling Danny a grass, saying that Danny this, Danny that, right? Now, remember the size of field Decca's got there on subscribers and how many people are listening to this. So when he comes out and called Danny a grass, and uses a star who always favoured Decca, has come out and basically said, the judge said to Danny, what you should have done was when the police went to your house was basically tell the police and make a statement. Danny refused to make a statement. And the judge says to Danny, what instead of going to that fight in Manchester, you should have phoned the police. Because if you get challenged to another fight, you're going straight to jail this time. Now, as everybody witnessed it, other people were coming on and speaking on behalf of Decca, saying that this court order would be getting lifted if Danny came and fight Decca. Then the second fight was meant to happen. So basically what I think was Decca has been trying to set up Dean Lynch and that to try and say, oh, they're trying to bully me to lift a court order. You know what I mean? Because he made a video saying, can you this court order at first? I mean, come on, he said at the end of the day, the guy made 13 statements. His dad took Danny to the police station in Carlisle and made not one but 13 statements. He was scared for his life. He was scared. He couldn't sleep. His mental health was taking a battering. Every time he gets bad from it, he pulls a mental health card.
Yeah.
The reason his mental health's bad is because his nose is stuck in the marching powder. Yeah, and then and then he was in a mental hospital for 4 days. He claims he was sectioned. Well, unless the laws have changed in Scotland, if you're getting sectioned in Scotland, it takes 2 people to get you sectioned, and even at that, it's a struggle. So, and I've never heard of anybody in my life getting sectioned for 4 days. I know a professional golfer who I'm friendly with, who went in to get assessed with his girlfriend and get out 18 months later. And to this day,
I know that's something that drives you up the wall as well, this whole mental health thing. And I know, from the moment that me and you, were introduced and we spoke, the mental health thing, I know that really does get right on your wick. And anyone who suffers from mental health, and I know a lot of people, who do, it's upsetting when people are playing that card and they haven't got any mental health issues. Kelsey, you're right. He does perpetuate the controversy around himself more than anyone else does. Any attention will do, it seems. Tom, look, mate, we are going to be finishing the broadcast very soon. I said I would only do an hour, and we've stretched it because obviously...
I actually fell asleep, Steve. My apologies.
No, don't worry, John's popped on, and it's nice because it's got us back into the flow of this. As I've said, this week's been a tough week, and to actually get back into talking about other things other than football, I thank John for coming on and doing that. In all fairness, this is what I like about thank you, Mouse Georgia. His channel's changed conversation, but yet still it is controlled. Thank you very much. A couple of questions, I did see them. Black Witch says, do you think Russia would ever attack us in a nuclear way? No, I think that war is still going to run and run, but I don't think that's going to happen. And I think
no, in a nuclear way, no. But the security, because Donna obviously with previous work in that, she kind of gets updates and things. I mean, there's maybe by some point she would maybe even get asked to come back on the computer side of things. But we were high there last week, but they never announced it. Or high, there was like certainly a heavy increase at airports and stuff. But again, you can click it. You can, if you know where to look, you can get in and keep an eye on these things. But again, you don't want to have a paranoid button. Sometimes you're better known because the propaganda behind it would drive you up the wall.
I do like the guy on Talk TV who said his biggest interview was with Donald Trump, and he says he's got to be honest. When he went in and did this interview with Donald Trump, he says for most of the interview, in his office, he was looking and fixated on the red button on his desk. And he says when the interview finished, he says Trump hovered his finger over the red button and then he pressed it. And he says he took a sharp intake of breath. And then the door opened and a bloke came in bringing a Diet Coke. So Donald Trump has got a good sense of humour, if nothing else. If there was a movie about you, John, who would you like to play yourself? Bruce Willis?
If I was to play in a part in a movie,
if somebody was going to play you in a film about this whole situation, which actor would you like to play you?
Oh, it would need to be Robert Carlyle, mate. It would need to be Begbie. Definitely.
Yeah, Begbie, it's got a good one. Mr. Sifter, thank you, mate. I don't shy away from comments or questions, and I don't. I try not to block people. I've got moderators, and you need to have moderators when it gets to a controversial chat. And my mods, I've got mods for football and I've got mods for true crime and the YouTube stuff. And to be honest, they all do me really proud. Got some great people, and every now and then I'll pick somebody out and I'll add them as well if I've seen them in the chat for long enough. I try to do the questions myself. As for comments on the channel, I keep reminding people that you have community guidelines on YouTube. And if I set them for a certain way or to take out certain words, then they will. But ultimately, if you go through my videos, doesn't matter which video is up there, it can be about the most controversial or the most least controversial. All the comments are still there. The only ones to get taken off are by YouTube, and I don't know why they do it. And ultimately, it's down to them. Sometimes they get taken off by them, but the moderators in the channel don't have access to take away the comments. So I just leave them up there for people to see. Sometimes I'll reply. I haven't got loads of time to do that. Sometimes I reply if I see something. If I catch it on my phone on that day, I'll reply. But it is interesting. And well done, Mods, says Mouse Georgia. Yeah, one more question. Okay, Stappy, taking around to the craze. Who do you admire more, Ron or Reg, and Eddie or Charlie? Eddie and Charlie by a country mile, mate. They were. Listen, I met all four of those guys, and Eddie and Charlie were the real deal. They were proper businessmen as well. Charlie was very bright. I did a bit of work with Charlie in his later years, legal work as well, I have to hasten that. If you remember the alcoholic test tubes that came out back in the day, he was the man who launched them. He was the man in the background who launched the very first cocktails in test tubes. And it was me who was knocking them out up and down the country for him with a couple of people. So, yeah, Charlie Richardson is the person I admire the most. Eddie, met him a couple of times, not really had anything to do with the business-wise. And, of course, the Craze, visited them in prison. Certainly, those two were very different. But I wouldn't be doing what I do today, and I wouldn't have made as much of a success with writing books and doing various things if it hadn't been for my association with the twins. And anybody who hasn't seen the Craze Gangsters Behind Bars, it's on Amazon Prime. It's free to watch if you've got an Amazon Prime account. Watch it and then tell me what you think about it. Leave a review. It's well worth watching. Kelsey says, get humble on the Wednesday panel talking about world news. Okay, well, listen, if you're free, we are going to do it on Wednesday, John, if you fancy coming on and talk about other things other than Decker.
I'll bring my brain with me.
Yeah, because we've got a lot of, by the way, even though I've had a tough week, I've still been collecting some absolutely hilarious news stories. And believe me, this Wednesday, the News of the World show will be good. There's some absolutely great stuff. And it's always well worth talking about stuff other than football. So, which is good. Blackwitch, yeah, that would be great to get Mr. Humble on Wednesday. Steve, we'll give it a watch. Thank you. And Mouse Charger says, thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to let you all go. It is Sunday. It's time to go and get your... the beef or the chicken. You didn't eat your dinner in between two slices of white bread with some butter. Go and get a packet of crisps and a can. I'll get done in it. Vince, I know you've been a little bit of a spectator there, but I do want to mention the Darth Vader thing. You've got your name down as Darth Vader, and that's because you went and collected at the food bank when Newcastle United's women's team played at the stadium, and you were dressed as Darth Vader, not only for collecting money for the food bank, but also in the match.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great laugh. Like I says, I just kept it on all day. It was great. The kids loved it, and that's what it was for. Like I says, it was amazing. Like I says, but it's all good. Mate. Like I'm up for anything. Always leave you happy.
I know that, mate. Good lad from the fella, top man. Okay, listen. Thanks for jumping on, Vince. Thanks for jumping on, John. Look forward to seeing you on Wednesday, mate. That's all for now. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks for the moderators. Take care and have a great Sunday evening.
Thank you.